All right, everybody, this is going to be the final video, the third video in lesson 1. This is going to be the angle addition postulate. It works pretty similar to the segment addition postulate, so let's check it out. So, breaking down the angle addition postulate, an angle is again formed by two rays that share an endpoint. So in this case, like AB is a ray, BC is a ray. So this ABC is like a larger angle. CBD is another angle here, and then ABD would be another angle. Addition means that we're basically going to be taking these angles and adding them together to create a bigger angle. And then a postulate, again, Euclid basically said that a postulate is just something that we assume to be true in order to build off of it. So the angle addition postulate basically says that if we have some sort of point in the interior of another angle, so in this case they're calling it angle ABC, then we can create a ray that goes from the shared endpoint through point D and have a diagram that looks like this. Then with this diagram, we can actually say that this big angle ABC, the whole big angle ABC, or CBA if you want to call it that, ABC, is equal to these smaller angles ABD and CBD or DBC added together. So these two smaller angles added together will be equal to the whole big angle ABC. That's what the angle addition postulate says, so let's look at how it works. Example 3 is, if we have point D in the interior of angle ABC, so first things first is if you ever have a problem that kind of looks like this, always a good idea to draw a diagram to help visualize it. So this would be what the diagram looks like. We have this angle ABC created by this ray BA and this ray BC. And then if we have this point D in the interior of it, we can draw this third ray like that and have our diagram right here. Now the problem up here says if the measure of angle ABD, so ABD is this angle right here, is 48 degrees and the measure of angle DBC is 78, we want to find the measure of ABC. So ABD is 48, DBC is 78. So if we want to know what ABC is, well, it's made up of this whole angle. So using the angle addition postulate, we can write this equation that angle ABC should be equal to ABD plus angle DBC. So this is what the angle addition postulate basically allows us to write. And then we can just substitute the values in. So we know ABD is 48. We know that DBC is 78. So if we plug those in or substitute in here, we can rewrite this angle for ABC. So we know that ABC is just equal to 126. So this whole angle ABC is 126. That's how the angle addition postulate works. Let's look at another example. So example 4, this is a little bit closer to what you're going to have to be able to do on the test. So it says if the measure of angle SPR equals 60 degrees, so SPR is this angle right here, and measure of angle SPQ, so SPQ is this whole angle right here. And they're saying that that's 118. We want to know what QPR, so QPR is this smaller angle right here. So first thing I would do is, it's always a good idea just to write what the segment addition or angle addition postulate would say. So in this case, we know that SPQ, this whole angle, is made up of these two smaller angles added together. So that's what this first statement here says, SPQ equals SPR plus QPR. Then we can rewrite the equation by subtracting because we want to know what QPR is, right? We want to know what this should be. So what I can do is rewrite the equation so I'm solving for that. So I could subtract SPR on both sides and know that angle QPR is going to be equal to SPQ minus SPR. This step is optional. You don't necessarily need to write this because you can actually substitute up here and then solve. So again, SPR is 60 and SPQ is 118. So the whole angle is 118. This angle right here is 60. So we know that this angle should be 118 minus 60. So that's what we're doing here is substituting their values and then solving it by subtracting 60 on both sides here to get angle QPR should be 58 degrees. You can pause this if you need to, otherwise we're going to move on. Last example. So example 5, this is again very similar to what you're going to have to be able to do on the test over this unit or over this lesson on the unit test. So it says if the measure of angle PQR is 141. So PQR is the whole angle here. We want to figure out what the value of x should be, and then after that we want to figure out what angle PQS, the measure, that's what the little m stands for here. The little m stands for the measure of. So here this would read the measure of angle PQR is 141. We want to find the measure of angle PQS. So PQR is the whole angle. We can basically set up something to represent PQR. We know that angle PQR should be equal to these smaller angles added together, so PQS plus SQR. And each of these angles is represented by these expressions right here. So after we have our equation written down for our angle addition postulate, PQR is equal to these smaller angles added together, then we can substitute. So we know that PQR is 141 degrees. That's where this comes in. We know that PQS is represented by this expression, 13x plus 4. So that's where that comes from. Substituting in right here. And then we have our positive sign because it's angle addition. And then SQR is represented by 10x minus 1. So after you have an equation put together like this, we can just go ahead and solve it for x. So on the right-hand side, always a good idea to simplify. So we got 13x's plus 10x is going to give us 23x. And we have a positive 4 minus 1 is a positive 3. So after we simplify this right-hand side, we are left with this. 141 equals 23x plus 3. Then we just subtract 3 on both sides to get x kind of by itself. And then now we have to divide by 23 in order to figure out what x should be. 138 divided by 23 is 6. All right, so that's what we have here. It said find the value of x. Whoops. So we know x equals 6. Second part of this question, this is a lot like what you're going to have to do on the assignment and on the test. Now we need to figure out what PQS should be. So we know that x equals 6. We know that PQS is represented by 13x plus 4. So we are just going to substitute in for x. We're going to substitute 6 in for x. So it would look like this. PQS equals 13 times 6, because that's what x is, plus 4, because that's what this expression says. 13 times 6 plus 4 will get us to 82 degrees. And that's what the measure of angle PQS should be. All right. If you have any questions as you're working on this assignment, please let me know. You can rewind and pause or fast forward these videos as you need to. But the lesson 1 assignment is on Schoology. Try to make sure that you're using all the attempts that you can so that you can get a 5 out of 5. Again, because this is so independent and self-paced, you need to make sure that you're asking me for help when you need it. Otherwise, I'm not really going to know. But I'll just be checking in with you kind of routinely. All right, good luck.